Hello everyone. I had actually recorded this, but there was a slight problem with my camera. Cool. So, I'm going to re-record it. Over the weekend, a few things happened. One of which I'll be covering on Wednesday, which is a continuation of another video that I've done before. Sort of. And this sort of goes along a similar line to the Onision stuff we've covered for the past couple of weeks. I swear to God. Last week, Trisha had some relationship issues with her boyfriend, Jason Nash, who's part of the Vlog Squad. For those that don't know what the Vlog Squad is, it's David Dobrik, Jason Nash, and a handful of others that hang around together, do a lot of shit together, and get into, you know, just general shit and stuff like that. So, what this video is about is a little bit about Jason, but it's mainly about another situation. Now, the Jason situation is bad enough. It's creepy, yes, but it's not illegal. There is another situation that is illegal. I will explain what I mean. So the reason why this relationship issue happened, and Trisha did a video about it, telling everybody about it, was because Jason and David had this running joke in his vlogs. And it was this bit that they would do on a regular basis, where Jason wanted a threesome with Trisha and Tana Mojo. Now, Jason's 45. Trisha is 30. Tana's what, 21, 22? So that is creepy as all hell. And when they've approached Tana about it, she says, no, that's wrong. It's no offence, but just no. So she knows, I think even she knows not to do stuff like that. Which says a lot considering who we're talking about. But she's actually said that she doesn't want to be involved in a threesome with with Jason and Trish. I don't think she's in any way attracted to either of them. I don't think she's in any way interested in either of them. She's in a long-term relationship as far as I'm aware. And it's fucking creepy that a 45-year-old wants to fuck a 20-year-old. That is fucking creepy. Now, like I say, I have an issue with that, but that's not illegal. It's creepy and disgusting and horrible, but it isn't illegal. However, this is where we get to the illegal bit. In the video, Trish alludes to a situation that apparently some people knew about, but it never got any real traction. Up until the weekend. Apparently, one of the members of the Vlog Squad, which is the gentleman in the title, whose name is Brandon Calvillo, I think. We'll just call him Brandon from now on. Was in a relationship with a 17-year-old this time last year. Now, this is a bit of an issue, both legally, and there's a few things that don't make sense. Now, when Trisha came out with this allegation that the girl in the question, which is Lacey Jane, and Brandon started sleeping together before she turned 18, they both put out a statement saying that that was categorically untrue, which has since been removed, and has also all the pictures of them with the other person, or of the other person on their social media, has been removed, right? Now, but they both claim she was 18 when she started the relationship. She actually says she was a freshman in college. Now, obviously, push comes to shove, people might just leave it there and just believe that that's the truth. But Petty Page is petty for a reason, and well, her and her fans sort of uncovered a few things, and some of them are extremely interesting. Like I said, Lacey said she started dating Brandon in her first year of university. Now, it's also been discovered she finished high school a year early. Her employment history is of a dog walker, and then she went right from being a dog walker to January of last year, she started working as Brandon's PA. Now, there is a video of them going on a first date, which is dated the 23rd of February. Remember that date. It's going to be important. Where David crashes a date between her and Brandon. And he says to David, it's sex on the cards. David says to her, it's sex on the cards. And she says to David, yes. Like I say, remember the date. And that video clip makes me feel icky in all sorts of ways, because you can see she's fairly young. And he's 24 in that clip. Fucking hell, he needs to use moisturiser. It's like, I can't say much, but he didn't look like he was 24 in the clip. He looked like he was about 29. Now, she worked from a PA with him from the January of last year. But her previous experience, employment-wise, to that, was a dog sitter. So, you are, without a relationship, you are going to employ somebody who is 17 at the time, whose only job experience is looking after dogs, to do any and all paperwork you need her to do as the director of your company and as your personal assistant. When I worked for the big company I worked for before I moved to York, the PAs we had there, they had to be qualified up the wazoo. They had to have years of experience and competent at their job. There is not a chance in hell that that company would have employed a PA that was 17 years old and had no job experience. And even a 24-year-old knows not to do that. Not unless there's something else going on. Now, people might say, yeah, but what about the Romeo and Juliet laws? Right. First, and the age of consent. First of all, the age of consent in California is 18, as far as I'm aware. Second, the Romeo and Juliet laws is usually 3 years, so it'd have to be at the oldest 20. Plus, California doesn't have a Romeo and Juliet law. So, that squashes that one. She could have taken a year off, which is entirely possible, but her employment history, and her history on social media in general doesn't support that. There's nothing that supports her taking a year off. Now this is where the kicker happens, and I will be linking Paige's video because she shows the proof. On Lacey's Facebook, from the 1st of March 2016, there are posts that Petty's fans have found that say on her Facebook page, from messages from her friends and family, saying happy sweet 16. That's the 1st of March 2016. So the date of David's vlog is 23rd of February 2018, which was a week before she turned 18. But she'd been working for Brandon since the January. So what I think happened is the relationship between Brandon and Lacey started before January. That once the relationship started getting serious, then he brought her on as a personal assistant to help her professionally. And then he then thought, getting closer towards her birthday, let's start it as if this is the first date, when first of all they should have made sure that the video release was after her birthday, at least a couple of days after, or at least film it a couple of days after her birthday. Because David even makes a joke saying he hopes she's over 18. So that's my theory, and I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. But the plain simple fact is, he would not have employed her as a personal assistant with the employment background she did unless there was an ulterior motive. So it all looks bad. So the video alluding to them having sex was filmed on the 23rd of February. And that video, along with Trisha's video, have since been deleted. But the problem is, when something goes up on the internet, it generally stays on the internet. Now, this is why I'm pissed. First of all, thank you, Trisha, for actually saying this. However, don't think that gets you let off lightly, because it doesn't. At the end of the day, Trisha knew about this. She's known about this for over a year, more than likely. She never said anything publicly. She has a big following. She has a lot of subscribers. She could have given this a voice that other people didn't, because they were acting so dismissal of it. Now, am I surprised that David and Jason acted dismissal of the issues when they act the way they do around Tanner? I'm not. The fact that a 45-year-old wants to sleep with somebody that's more than 20 years younger than him, when she's, what, 2-3 years off being legal? When she's, what, young enough to be his kid? I'm sorry. Now, like I say, there's an 8-year age gap between me and the husband, so that's fine, but the problem is when you are talking about somebody that's under the age of consent, being with somebody that's over the age of consent, and when you are talking about somebody that's still in their teens, being with somebody that's in their 20s. Now, if it's, say, 19 and 21, I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue when it's 17 and 24. This is the exact same issue that I had with the whole Lainey and Sarah thing. She was 16 when they moved in, Lainey was 24. It's the same type of thing. We don't know if this is the only person he's been in an underage relationship with. We don't know if this is the only person he's communicated with to foster that relationship. We don't know what else has happened behind the scenes, because we're only finding this out because Trisha got pissed because of an ongoing joke. Now, it's bad that Trisha didn't do anything to highlight this, and I am mad at her for this. I am glad she has actually finally stepped up and done something, but she needs to realise she has a following, and that following want her to stand up for people. And stand up for people that don't have the legal power to consent to a sexual relationship with an adult. Like I say, if it was in this country, legally there won't be an issue, because in this country the age of consent is 16. However, the fact is partially the age gap, and then partially the fact that within this group, the underage sex is seen as, oh, it's, you know, she's gonna be 18 soon. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's gonna be 18 soon. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then there's the whole thing of, oh yeah, this 25-year-old wants to have sex with a 20-year-old, and I'll get a Lamborghini if I foster it to happen. What else is happening in this group that we don't know about? What else is happening in this group that hasn't been recorded, hasn't been put on the internet, that nobody's spoke up about? Because I've got a funny feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know what gets deleted from vlogs. We don't know what happens within relation to a lot of this stuff online. And we don't know what happens behind closed doors. Very true. But when we do find out stuff like this, it causes our minds to think of the worst, to think of, Is somebody being manipulated? Is somebody being forced to do this? We don't know that. We're only left to surmise and think that these are possibilities, because they are possibilities, and they always will be possibilities for as long as you have people on social media that think it's fine for a 45-year-old to fuck a 20-year-old, that it's fine for a 24-year-old to fuck somebody that's under the age of consent, and that it's fine to fucking bring a 16-year-old to your house when you have a history of fucking 17-year-olds. So, and I will be going more into the whole fight of social media influencers and abusing power on Wednesday, because there's a very interesting case that happened last year, that I spoke about last year, that I'm also going to speak about on Wednesday. I've already recorded that video. Luckily my camera didn't act up. There was some stuff in the lens, I managed to get it out. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna have to edit this video and calm down. Don't know, I'm gonna do both, but oh god, if Phil covers it, I'm gonna pull my hair out. Oh! But yeah, Trisha, next time, please use your position of authority, position of power, to speak up about things like this. We don't know if you don't tell us. We don't know what's going on. And the plain simple fact is, we're finding this out a year after the fight. She's now 18, she's going to turn 19 in a month. But the plain simple fact is, this is being allowed and being joked about in a group where, granted, a lot of the guys are quite young and thus are relatively immature, but they have a position of power over a lot of people, and they have a position of influence, and they have a position of authority over a lot of people, and that's where the issue comes. Now, the fact that Brandon's got his girlfriend working as his PA is another thing that fucking creeps me the fuck out, because I don't mind workplace relationships, providing there isn't a power issue at play. Say, for example, or the relationship didn't get serious until, well, the relationship got serious before that power position came into play. The issue I have is when you have somebody that has a position of here in a relationship with somebody that has a position of power here, and it's like, well, if you want to keep your job, you'll keep the relationship going and things like that, and it's like, this is one of the things that we're fighting against with Hollywood. This is one of the things we're fighting against with politics in this country, because a lot of people in politics in this country have been outed as well as the entertainment industry. The fact is, people in a position of power will always abuse that power. Not everybody will, but a lot of people will. And the plain simple fact is, they have to be held accountable. And the plain simple fact is, Trish should have held Brendan accountable. She should have said, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to stand by and let that child be involved in an adult relationship with somebody who's 17, 18, 19, 20, 7 years older than her, when she's 17. Now, the plain simple fact is, when I was 17, I was college, going to university, by the way. College is different here in the UK. It's somewhere you go between secondary school and university. So I was in my second year at college, literally applying to universities, and the last thing I had on my mind was a long-term relationship. The last thing I had on my mind was my employment, was my future goals. I wanted to finish college, get the best grade I could, go to university, study forensics, and get the best grade I could there. And then life gave me a swift kick just before I graduated, but that's not the point. The plain simple fact is, if there is a position of power, i.e. an influencer and a fan, or a studio exec and an actress, or a pop star and a fan, or a politician and a kid, or a social worker and a kid, any position of power, a headmaster and a child, or a teacher and a child. Because there's if I can find one of, they've done a video collection of it, and it's a soap here in the UK, and they do a lot of good storylines. And at the minute they have one which is a teacher, that's trying to seduce her boyfriend's son, who also happens to be one of her students. I think he's, what, 15? So yeah, there's that. But the plain simple fact is, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. We don't know if David's been in relationships with people that are underage. We don't know if this is the only person Brandon's been in a relationship with that was underage. We don't know that at all. And the plain simple fact is, people are assuming that people are mad, and I can understand why they're mad. At the end of the day, Trisha should have said something a lot sooner, and it shouldn't have taken her getting pissed off at Jason and David for her to do it. But it did. And while I am glad she eventually did speak up, that's not the point. The plain simple fact is, this shouldn't have happened. Like I said, I don't have an issue with relationships with huge age gaps. Like I said, to say, is between me and my husband. We have a couple that we're friends with. One of the couple is same age as my husband, and the other one is a couple of years younger than me. So there's about 10, 12 years age gap, but she's nearly 30 and he's in his 40s. It's not 17 and 24. So the situation's a lot different, because at 17 you don't know what you're doing. And for those that say, I know what I'm doing at 17, please. When I was 17, I didn't know half the shit I know now. I thought I did, but I didn't. At the end of the day, these rules are in place for a reason. There are reasons for these things to be in place. Now, there are the questions of where were her parents, why did her parents not get involved, etc., so on and so forth. Just have to wait and see, but I'm mad. Which is actually technically an understatement. Right, I'm going to edit this and then calm down. I think is the best plan. And I'll probably edit Wednesday's video tomorrow, because I won't be able to edit both tonight, because if I do, I'll just pull my hair out. Why do influencers do this? It gives the rest of us a bad name. Stop it, guys. Seriously, stop it. Anyway, stay safe, be good, have fun, and I'll see you on Wednesday.